Radio loyalty. Of course, also iHeartRadio, the Twitch live stream as well. And we have got a fantastic guest with us today. Rob Dexter joins us here on our broadcast. Talk to us a little bit about the band that you're in, my friend, because you guys are making a lot of noise right now.
Sure will, James. Yeah, we're Kings County, and we're based here in Orlando, Florida. And the band originated in New York several years ago. We ended up coming down here to play for Disney. We were strictly a cover band at the time, but we thought it was a great opportunity to play for Disney, and we ended up being a house band, man. We did that for about 8 years, and it was great because instead of traveling around the world like you would if you were on tour with a regular band, all the people came to you.
That's fantastic.
Diverse, when you think about it, you got such a diverse audience coming from all over the place, and we really build up a great fan base doing it like that. So then we started getting into the whole original thing, and that really kind of exploded. When you're in strictly an original band, it's kind of hard to stay busy as far as like shows, unless you really have some good backing. But when you do the cover stuff, it's a great opportunity to get your music to people that probably wouldn't hear it otherwise.
That's awesome. Well, I think the whole thing of you guys being in one spot is pretty amazing, because you're right. You just have everybody come to you.
Exactly. And, the traveling isn't bad. You just have to, we all kind of relocated here to the Orlando area. And, you're playing on world-class stages at Disney, gigantic, amphitheater stages. And, what a great way to get your music to the people.
We have got a fantastic guest with us today. Joins us live here in our broadcast. Rob Dexter is with us from Kings County. And, you guys are just doing some amazing things. You're inspired by an eclectic combination of the Beatles and 70s rock supergroups. Talk to me about that.
Well, when we all grew up, obviously a lot of people were influenced by the Beatles, and we all kind of grew up on a lot of the 70s supergroups. Nowadays there's not, when you had Zeppelin and Aerosmith and bands like that, there weren't so many of those. So you really kind of looked up to them and the way they played their songs and wrote their music. And I think that was a really important part of how we developed as musicians, especially being in New York. It's so competitive. I mean, you have a ton of people trying to do the same thing that you're doing. And I think that makes you a stronger musician and a stronger player over time. So when we came to Florida, it was like we had that kind of take no prisoner attitude, because we were used to that in New York, and it ended up working in our favor. So, it's always good to, kind of incorporate your roots of the music that you grew up with and really inspired by into your own music. That's basically kind of how we wrote our music. A lot of it also kind of has a 90s feel to it, because when we were putting the band together, that was kind of what was big at the time, like a lot of the 90s hard rock bands. And we really kind of, went to that style because we did it really well. And, our stuff kind of has that 90s feel to it, but with a modern edge.
We have got a great guest with us today, Rob Dexter, with us from Kings County, and they join us today here on our big broadcast. And you guys have got this brand new radio remix of 7 Reasons. Talk to me a little bit about 7 Reasons.
Sure. When we first wrote the song, it was myself and guitar player Steve Bell. It was strictly an acoustic song. It was just an acoustic guitar and vocals. And we started working on it for a while, and we kind of put it away. And, didn't really think about it. And about a year ago, we brought it back and said, wow, really got some strong stuff here. I thought it would, we need to develop it more because we had a really good hook on it and the parts were there. But, we thought maybe not do an acoustic. Let's, bring the whole band in and make it full electric. So that's what we kind of did. So we recorded it last year, and it ended up going on our new CD, which we released in September, this past September. And we started getting a lot of reviews on the album, And that was the one song that kept on coming back. Wow, you got a great song. 7 Reasons. 7 Reasons. So we kind of knew, wow, man, we had something here. So we wanted to kind of, for the new year, we wanted to take it to the next level. We're like, okay, we did a really good version of the song, but let's take it even further. So we ended up getting producer Chuck Alkazian to remix the song and produce the song with us. And we got drummer Jason Hartless, who was Ted Nugent's drummer, to play on the track. We kind of wanted to go outside the box, do something a little bit different, and maybe work with people we don't normally work with to kind of expand the sound. And it just exploded. I mean, we did a great job. It's really important when you have a producer and the band really works well together. You kind of bounce ideas back and forth. I think that was really important. And we kind of took parts out, moved things around, and it just sounded great. And that's where we are right now. We just released it on March 20th. So it is available right now on iTunes and streaming on Spotify.
Fantastic.
So that's where we are right now.
If you want to get more information, kingscountyofficial.com. Also, they're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well. And welcome to it. This is the world-famous Jaguar radio broadcast here on iHeartRadio. Also live today on the KJAG Radio Facebook page. We are trying something a little bit different today, and we're also simulcasting this on Periscope as well. So tell me, Rob, a little bit about some of the different players that are in the band.
Sure. Well, we have guitar player and singer Steve Bell. He's originally from Massachusetts. Bill Kenya is our other guitar player. He's original New Yorker. And when we first had the band together, we had a different drummer, but we ended up, when we moved down here, we got someone new, and that's Joe Lopez, who's based here in Tampa. So it was kind of a cool, eclectic mix of everybody. When we first started the band, it was still original 3 guys, me, Steve, and Bill. So we've been playing together for years and years, and you just can't buy tightness at Guitar Center. That's something that has to be developed.
That's awesome. You guys should put that on a T-shirt.
Exactly. Maybe we should, but it is so true because, we've seen tons of bands. I mean, they're always changing players, and they're changing, direction, always trying to chase the trend of whatever music is big at the time. And you can't do that. You got to be kind of true to your heart and what you really are passionate about. And I think that's really developed the band sound, and that has helped us. Everybody kind of says, hey, you guys don't really sound like anybody else. And I think that's kind of because we've always just, people try to say, you got to play this kind of style, you got to do this kind of style. And we were kind of like, no, we're going to do what we feel is the strongest. And I think it's
awesome.
really paid off for us.
That's fantastic. We have got a great guest with us today. Rob Dexter from Kings County is with us here on Skype Audio to discuss a lot of things to do with the band and also talk about 7 Reasons. Now, you guys are on the usual social media outlets, Twitter, Facebook, Periscope, all these different places. Talk to me a little bit about your social media following.
Back when the band first started, I mean, there was no Facebook or Instagram or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's really kind of helped underground bands get out to the world. I mean, it's really important. It's a great way to get your music to the masses. And, people that maybe never would have heard of you before without, the internet or social media, it is a great way. We've, accumulated so many fans through social media, and people that would never have heard of you if there was no Facebook or things like that. So I think it's really helped, especially, up-and-coming bands like ourselves and, a lot of underground music. A lot of people have a problem with, some of the social media. As far as music and bands, I think it's great. I think it really helps, develop your fan base and get to people maybe, in Japan or Europe or that would never, ever be able to hear about you.
Well, and I'll tell you, being down there in Orlando, in that area, I'm sure you guys are picking up a lot of great social media following as well.
Absolutely. One thing great about Florida or any of the states that are in the southern part is you pretty much have really good weather. It's you know 10, 11 months out of the year, you have really good weather. So there's a lot of places to play and a lot of venues. Obviously there's a lot of coastline, so there's a lot of cool places you can play right on the water. That doesn't hurt. When we played in New York, you were pretty much, it was more of a seasonal thing. I mean, there were clubs that were doing it, all year round, but then you're dealing with, cold weather. People don't want to go out and that. It's snowing and things like that. But I think Florida is a great way to, most of our shows are actually outdoors because the weather is always great here. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of nice to play outdoors. Obviously you don't want it too hot, but it's definitely a great area. You got Disney, you got Universal. I mean, that's the reason why we came down here, but then we kind of branched out after that. And, we play all over the state. We play through the Panhandle, and Alabama, and Georgia, and South Carolina. So there's a lot of great places out there to play. And there's, people say, well, rock isn't as big as it used to be. There's a ton of people that still follow rock to this day and are passionate about it, which is great. It helps bands like us.
We're going to play 7 Reasons. Before we do this, where can people get your music and participate in helping you guys keep going?
Sure. 7 Reasons, you can see it on iTunes, Apple Music, streaming on Spotify. So if you have Spotify right now, you can go and hear it and check out the song. And pretty much any of the social media, we'll have, some clips on there also. But, most people usually go and gravitate to iTunes and Apple Music and Amazon Music and things like that. So it's pretty much, on all the avenues you can hear the song. And it's the new one it's 7 Reasons, and it's called Radio Remix.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate you making time, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for being with us.
You got it. I appreciate the opportunity.
Definitely. Have yourself a wonderful day, my friend. There he goes, Rob Dexter from Kings County, and here's 7 Reasons here on a big broadcast.
I'll pray with every passing day, and the words I'll say you manage to break through. It's time to clear my mind and finally realize to take back my life, there's nothing to explain.
That's 7 Reasons. Go download it on Spotify. Also buy it on iTunes. We are going to take a brief break. When we come back, we have got more coming up on the other side. It is the world famous Jiggy Jaguar Radio